Today we are with Wan Hazmer, okay, talking Sens. Okay. So Wan Hazmer actually from Metronomic. Okay, Metronomic is a video game development company or studio based in Malaysia. I think their famous game. Just now when I asked my son, he said he also know. Okay, no straight roads.
Oh, he knows it.
Yeah,
Oh,
he actually want to come.
I see. Oh,
okay.
hello.
But I said, no way, you got class. Okay, right. Game, when we talk about no straight road, I think it's something a bit different, okay, where you have a combination of action, music, okay, as you journey in the game. Okay? And I heard that you also are involved in Final Fantasy 15.
Yes, that's right. As a lead game designer. What's your son's name?
Valuation.
Valuation. Hi, Valuation.
So you are the lead developer for Final Fantasy.
Game designer.
15.
Game designer.
Game designer. Yeah. So I think of course. Can you talk a little bit about yourself? I think whatever I said is maybe 0.001% of yourself. Okay? And
because the 99.9% is not interesting, so
maybe. Okay? And little bit about your company.
Okay, sure. My name is Wan Hazmer. I am now CEO, co-founder, CEO, and game director of Metronomic. And I actually didn't come from a video game background per se. I was a programmer at first. Yeah. I graduated from Upit College. Now it's called AP, I think. Yep. And then I was a programmer in advertising agency. Then I went to create my own indie games. And then I thought maybe I should go to Japan. So I studied Japanese for 1.5 years in Tokyo. And then after that, I sent some resumes to different companies, and I got into Square Enix.
While you are in
I was in Tokyo, I was in Tokyo. And there I became lead game designer of Final Fantasy 15, and I was also game designer for Final Fantasy Type 0. My cousin was also there, Daim. So he's the concept artist for Street Fighter 5 and illustrator for Street Fighter 4 and all that. And we decided to make a company together. So it's called Metronomic. He stays in Japan because he likes Japan, while I want to give a bit more chance to our local talents. So we actually created our hub here in Malaysia. Now we're located in Mid Valley area, and the company makes original video game IPs, meaning that we don't do co-development, we don't do outsourcing. So our first game was No Straight Roads. It came out in 2020, and it was made by a team that comprised mostly of people who had no experience in video games at all. So fresh graduates, or even we had an accountant who joined us as an environment artist.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. So it's because the problem with the game industry in Malaysia at the time is that we see the same people circling around. Yeah. So let's say, for example, if someone quits, you will see the same face again 2 years down the line. Okay. So we want to get new people into the industry. Yeah. So that's why why we created Metronomic.
Yeah, I think what you said about Metronomic also remind me of one of the budget airline. Basically, everybody can be a pilot. Okay. So not only can fly. Okay. So I think that is a very good initiative taken by Metronomic.
Sorry, fly as in, okay, I thought everyone can be a pilot. Sorry, I mistook you.
Actually, everyone can be a pilot. But how you develop these guys all to be able to develop a game? So they have to attend a degree course in the university for 3 years?
No. The accountant that I mentioned just now never went through any video game course. So he was an accountant, but he did 3D models at the side. His name is Syed Hafiz, and such a great guy. Now he's a tech artist. So one of the what we call rarest Pokemon out there. And how we did it was Daim, my cousin and I, we thought to ourselves that, we have an idea. So when we were in Japan, we kind of meet up every 2 weeks in a place called Ikebukuro. And then we discussed ideas, and then we came up with around 5 to 6 ideas. But we kind of understand that if we have more fresh blood onto the team, then we will have, starting from a small idea, we will have a much bigger idea, right? So first of all, I think what's most important is we have to be open about it, that people are going to maybe, change your idea, right? Yeah, but, when you have a lot of these new people coming in, then, you have very, very fresh ideas, something that we really need in the video game industry, especially here in Malaysia. And one more thing is, we planted, so although I say 80%, but obviously the other 20% are veterans. So we just make sure that we plant some veterans here and there, to ensure that everyone's going through the same, to the correct way. But I don't like to use the term correct way, because there's no such thing as the correct way in video game. Because video game industry is very young. It's only around 40 plus years old. So there's always, it changes like crazy, and people say, that technology always changes, video game even more so, due to its young age, So that's why we also, although I have some experience from Square Enix, and and also some veterans have experience in their own respective companies, but we want to see what we can do in a unique way, So if the young people can break our mindset about how to make a video game, why not?
Exactly.
So I think it's all about being open, and having veterans on board also being open up to new ideas.
Okay, yes, fantastic. Like you said, from your experience, you develop Metronomic. One thing about Metronomic that I want to ask you is about the logo.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Basically, what it represent? Does it represent your culture, your company's culture, or the team?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does a lot. In the logo, we have a metronome.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Metronomic after all. So Metronomic to us is how do I say it? It's an adjective version of a metronome. So it's an adjective to describe our games, meaning that everything has to go through rhythm. The reason why we created the company also was because I'm a very big rhythm gamer, they call it. So a rhythm game is where you have like a input device like a drum or a guitar or a keyboard or whatever, and then you have to press the buttons according to the beat.
Yes.
Right. Every time I ask my cousin or my wife to come over to the game arcades with me, they just want to see me play. They don't want to play with me. And the problem, I think, is because although everyone has musical sense, this is what I believe. Everyone has rhythm sense. Problem is that if you give them the wrong instrument or the wrong input device, then they can't, demonstrate their musical sense, right?
Yes.
So we wanted to make games where rhythm is very important, but we don't force you to press something on the beat. You just have to understand that things are running on the beat. So that's why we have the metronome as our symbol. And in the metronome, there is like a plant with a heart as petal. So that shows how much we care about nurturing the talent here in Malaysia. For one thing, the metronome also protects them, right? In other words, the rhythm of life is also something that the company cares a lot about. For example, we don't do overtime. If we do overtime, we really need to overcompensate. We need to really compensate for the overtime. Yeah, and it rarely happens. Also, we make sure that we care about their feedback. We are open to their ideas and all that. And then we also make sure that they grow. So we plant veterans in the right places to teach them and all this stuff lah. So, and the heart represents also our passion for to make video games that are more healthy, I guess, that will inspire others, rather than just making a game for the sake of trying to force a message or something like that,
I think like you said, making video game healthier. Is there any such concept?
There is definitely
video game apart from just getting up and move.
I think people learn a lot from video games.
Yes.
You know, some people even learn English through video games. They learn about other cultures through video games as well. Metronomic is also a platform for us to spread our culture throughout the world. Like for example, No Straight Roads, it had some Dikir Barat culture in it. It had some wayang kulit, and most of the voice actors, we forced them to speak in their own natural Malaysian accent.
Yes.
Yeah. At first, the team thought it was very cringy because they're not used to listening to Malaysian accent outside.
Yes.
Like when Michelle Yeoh spoke in Star Trek Discovery, right, everyone was like "Ugh." But you know, we don't want people to think like that.
Yes.
Right? Like I think back in the 2000 era and 90s as well, I think we used to call anything that's low quality as local. Wow, that product so local lah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we differentiate between the high end, the low end. Whatever come from here is considered.
Yep. So I want to break that mindset lah. So
Fantastic.
when we released No Straight Roads out there, we first showed the game in Tokyo Game Show, 2018, and a lot of people love the accent in the game. And these are non-Malaysians we're talking about. And then when we actually released it in 2020, a lot of people said that it was very unique. We still hear streamers saying "Ewa" on their streams, non-Malaysians.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, we should be proud of our culture, just not too proud of it.
Yes.
Of course, to the point that there's no relevance. But at the very least, don't shy away from putting our culture in there. So that's what we want to spread with our games.
Right. Of course, like any new company, okay. So when you start Metronomic, okay, how you manage the funding, how you manage the resources. So
the hardest question ever.
that is a question that a lot of people want to know.
Of course, understood. Well, at first I started with my own personal funds, and my dad, and also my uncle, who is Daim's father, my cousin's father. So it started from there, and then slowly but surely we tried to show the game to the world very quickly so that we can get publishers. So what publishers do is they provide development funds with a percentage of the revenue, like royalty share, right? And the government, MDEC, also helped us with the grant as well. Yep. So those are the various channels that we had to pick up in order to get our funds.
Okay.
But it started with just our personal funds.
Okay, fantastic.
The beauty about video games is that you can adjust the scale of your game to your funds. Because softwares are free now. Some softwares are free. So you can make a game. So for example, there's this thing called Game Jam, where you create a game in 24 hours or 48 hours. So you can actually create a commercial game at a very, very low cost.
Again, like you said, I think compared to creating a company with big asset, okay, so this is much easier. But again, how do you manage the marketing of it?
Marketing, okay.
How you want people to know about your game? Because there's so many games in the market.
I see. Well, we were very blessed with having a very, very good marketing producer. His name is Idir. He's from France. And we used to work together on Final Fantasy 15. So I was in Square Enix Tokyo developing the game, and he was in Square Enix Europe marketing Final Fantasy 15. And we talked together a lot about how to market the game and how to improve the game to improve the marketing, and how to improve the marketing too, So there's a lot of to and fro. So we did the same for Metronomic as well. Right, so he actually helped a lot with talking to the publishers, ensuring that the game gets highlighted by Sony, PlayStation, for example, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and all this. So I was very, very fortunate to be able to partner with him in this regard. Also, the publisher also helped us with the marketing as well.
Okay.
Yep. So which is why we usually go for overseas publishers, because they have the know-how on how to publish, because they have published so many games before, right?
But then again, like if you go to this big publisher, so how is the revenue distribution?
It depends on it depends on a few things. Number one is whether they are providing the funds themselves, right? The development fund.
Okay.
So if they are providing funds for the development, obviously they're going to have more percentage on their side, and also how much they're willing to put into marketing. You also have to prove to them that the game is interesting enough for them to be confident that they can sell a certain number of, units.
Yes. Okay.
So then that will determine the marketing fund.
Okay. Like if you look at from 2018, 2018, the gaming industry is about 130 billion.
30 billion, and now it's 196 billion, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, how you see the future of Metronomic?
Okay. Well, I see Metronomic as, I think what we want to do in Metronomic is that we want to make sure that we get a bigger slice of the pie in that 100, and now it's 196.8 billion.
Yes, I think it's more than 10% per year.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
when 2018 they said it's 10% per year, but now look like it might be 15% to 18%.
It's crazy. Yeah,
per year.
It has beaten Hollywood industry since 2008.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the problem is Malaysia still doesn't have a big slice of that pie. So I think to make sure that we all have the big slice of that pie, I have to tell everyone that it's okay to make original IP in Malaysia. Because in Malaysia, usually, in order to survive, you need to do co-development or outsourcing, or because original IPs usually it depends on the scale of your game, of course. But for us, it took 2.5 years to 3 years. So good luck telling the bank that. When you want to get a loan, the money will only come back in 3 years. Yeah. So,
but even 2.5 years is still considered averagely good.
Yeah, it's actually short lah. It's quite short. Considering the scale of the game, because we went to Nintendo Switch, we went to Xbox, and we went to PlayStations and PC as well. So we went multi-platform. Usually an indie company would just go for PC, and maybe, so it depends on the scale of the game, of course. If your game is around, let's say 1 hour of gameplay, then maybe you just need 1 year.
Yeah.
You never know. So it depends on expectations.
So the next 5 years or 10 years, how you'll see Metronomic, how big you're going to be? Or
okay.
Are you planning to sell it off after achieve certain...
Okay, the exit strategy is something that we can discuss later on. But what I want to do with Metronomic is a few things. Number one is we want to develop more original IP, of course. The other thing that I'm interested to do is to have what we call a culture lab. So what culture lab does is we cooperate with culturalists, like culture experts, like from universities or from the museums or whatsoever.
Okay, right.
And then we gain knowledge from that, so we know how to sell the culture. But because we know how to sell the culture, we can also help them as well. That is kind of like the big goal of Metronomic as well. On top of making more, just making more and more games. Yeah.
So, but I think this coronation will end up in developing a new game. Or
no, we will constantly develop new games anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are making a new game right now called Onde Onde.
Okay.
So Onde is if it's not obvious enough, is to really spread the culture more. If No Straight Roads had 10% Malaysian culture and 90% global relevance, it'll be the other way around for Onde Onde. And
maybe you can explain a little bit about Onde Onde.
Yeah, the problem is I cannot explain too much because we haven't revealed that much.
I said just a little bit.
We haven't even revealed the genre yet. But Onde is our second game. We already have a teaser online. The most I can say there is a game about family.
Okay.
And it'll be very fantastical. Unlike No Straight Roads is slightly fantastical. Malaysia is more so, and we'll be referring to a lot of Malaysian folklore and stories.
That'll be interesting.
Yep. And then obviously we put our own mix into that, and that's Onde Onde, of course.
Okay.
Of course, in the future, it'll be great that if we can work on 2 games at the same time or 3 games at the same time. I guess now, because we're in iMoney, right? So we have to talk about business a bit. So to sustain business, right, for No Straight Roads, it was quite dangerous because after No Straight Roads, then we work on our next game, Onde Onde. Problem is that we didn't work parallelly.
Okay.
So we were waiting for the revenue of No Straight Roads. And of course, revenue, when you deal with the publisher, usually the publisher will only pay you every 3 months.
Yes.
Or something like that. Luckily, No Straight Roads yielded profit on the first day. of sales. So we were very lucky on that regard. But still, you know, I mean, because a game takes around 2.5 years to 3 years even, so we need to sustain for that long, right?
Okay.
So better to work on something, you know, in parallel.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, the goal is to make sure that we work on many games at once, while at the background we try to add value to the game by making this culture lab, for example, and doing various things. Yeah.
But if you work on a parallel level, do you need more people, or you just use the same team? But just...
they definitely need more people. But so we can use the same team, but we have to be very cautious that we don't jeopardize the current game that we're building.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So of course, for example, in game development, there are many phases. We have the pre-production, production, post-production, and then we have the downloadable content production and all this stuff. So having 2 or 3 games in the same phase might be too dangerous.
Okay.
So yeah, we parallel, but we stagger it a bit, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So I think like you're talking about the game character.
Yeah.
So you have your Mayday.
Yeah. Oh.
And Zouk, is it?
Correct.
Drummer.
Yeah. Thank
so
you.
guitar and drummer.
Yes, guitarist and drummer. Yes.
But how you came out with these 2 characters?
Okay. Is
that something that
that one Daim did it. So Daim is the creative director. I'm the game director. So I create the game systems.
Okay.
The gameplay, how you play the game and all that. Well, he comes up with the world, the setting, the story, and all that. And yeah, Mayday and Zouk, they're really amazing characters.
I think it's fantastic. You come up with a guy and a lady, and battling the EDM together.
Yep. So something I learned from Final Fantasy 15 is that at the time, Final Fantasy, the IP was dwindling down, right? And during the meeting, when we were meeting with my director and the team about how to make sure that Final Fantasy goes up on the the role-playing game throne again, what should we do, And then one thing that we came up with was we had to make sure that it feels more relevant. So usually role-playing games, they are set in a medieval setting and you walk with your party and all that stuff.
Yes.
So we thought we wanted to redefine the adventure and make it more appealing to newcomers, and that's how we came up with the road trip concept. So Final Fantasy 15, you're really in a car, traveling.
Yes.
So it's the first Final Fantasy that you are riding in a car, in a modern car. So for No Straight Roads as well, we wanted to make sure that we are not short scenery lah. Just putting our own culture, then call it a day. Of course, we need to make sure that we have some form of global message. So a local setting, but a global message. So for us, we came up with one of the biggest debate in music, which is rock or EDM, right? And it was quite interesting when we first announced that message. Everyone was like, "Why the hell do these people hate EDM or what?" I was like, "No, I'm a big lover of EDM." But that is the message of the game. The message of the game, a bit spoiler alert, but is to not force your interest onto other people.
Okay.
Yeah. And and everyone has their say in what they like. So
essentially, the music is good.
The music is great.
Is fantastic.
Amazing music. Yeah.
So once you start, you basically get hooked.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to when you are in Japan, you work in a very big company.
Yep.
Okay. But when you return, you start a company.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What is the challenge? I mean, being in a big company where everything is there.
Yeah.
And suddenly come to a small company where everything is not there, and you have to get your hand everything
You
everywhere.
more or less answer the question.
So,
everything is there versus everything is not there.
How do you manage that?
I mean, first of all, I'd like to advise everyone not to open your company the same week as your wedding ceremony. Okay, it's really a bad idea. Okay, so horrible. Yeah, it was December.
That happened?
Yeah, that happened. First week of December 2017. The Monday, I opened the company, and the new members came in.
Any reason you open it so close so that you can remember either the company's anniversary or the wedding anniversary? I'm not very sure.
I was an idiot lah. So the best I can say.
It's a challenge.
It was like fulfilling 2 dreams at once. It was too ambitious. But anyway, Yeah, I think the biggest challenge, obviously, dealing with the logistics of opening a business, lah. Like, obviously, I didn't know, all these things about, company secretary, SSM, form 50, I don't know what number now. It's all different already. And then, the fact that starting from 2016, you only need one director, but a lot of the documents need two directors to sign and all. It doesn't, so it's like, there are so many things I had to deal with that I didn't have to deal with when I was in Square Enix, obviously.
So how does all this took a few months or?
Oh no, it's still like that until now. I mean, I'm still confused. But yeah, I mean, so I think one problem with the company at the moment, I think a lot of you entrepreneurs out there might be very, very familiar with this, but I'm wearing too many hats at the moment, right? So obviously you want to save money a bit, and then and then obviously I went through a computer science degree and all this, so I thought I can do my own IT management. And I have to open I have to open the business myself as well. So I have to manage the money myself as well. So wearing too many hats is really one of I heard it's a common problem with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, and that's something I learned firsthand with Metronomic, of course. Yeah.
So, is it still continued?
I mean, I'm still.
Or the hat is getting lesser?
Yeah, the hats are getting lesser. Hats getting lesser. Still wearing a bit too many hats, but way lesser than before. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still managing the IT. I'm still managing the accounts. If that's the.
Yeah, I think it's nothing wrong. So as long as you are still passionate about the business, this will happen.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So once you lose that fire, then you're gonna start giving it off. That's the danger of it. Okay?
I think the problem with me is I like too many things, so I have to reduce the things that I like. Basically, I mean, obviously I'm a game director, so
nothing wrong. That will keep us excited about the company. Actually alive.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, back to Malaysia.
Yep.
Okay. Of course, if you compare in Japan or even in US, I think are we far away in terms of the gaming industry? And what can the government or any other private entity can do?
To be honest, we are still very far. In terms of tech is one thing, but I think the biggest thing is this is very weird for me to say this, but culture. We are still very behind in terms of culture, or should I say culture marketing, right? So obviously Japan and America, they are very ahead in terms of tech, right? But in video game industry, you don't have to be that big to be successful. You can create a very small game and it can sell millions, and you'll be successful. So in order to build small, in order to make a small but successful game, you need to make sure that it's unique enough for people to enjoy the game, for people to shout about the game.
Okay.
Right? So a very good example is Witcher 3. So Witcher, I think it's a Netflix series now, but Witcher 3 came from Poland, and they started out as a very small company at first, and then they grew very big. In Indonesia now, we also have a bunch of visual novels, like Space for the Unbound, Coffee Talk, and all this. And they did not shy away from putting their culture in their video games. So a lot of people are talking about their visual novels at the moment. And if you even talk about anime, Japanese anime, the reason why anime is so popular is because they are not shy from putting in their own stuff. Naruto being the story, anime about ninja, and they take even the smallest things, like from their tradition. Like for example, we have gasing, but we lost to Beyblade, right? Because Japan has their own gasing as well, but they made it into a cultural icon, right? So I think yes, we are behind in terms of tech, but we are also behind in terms of how to make our culture more relevant to people to be able to sell our our culture lah. Basically, if we are very smart in putting our culture into the game will be more unique, and a lot of people will be shouting about the game now more. You see, but as you know, we Malaysians are not very good marketers lah.
I don't know. Maybe another thing is that maybe we don't see the market yet You know,
No, it's a huge market out there. Seriously.
people don't realize that this is
Yeah, that's true lah.
I think this is a business opportunity actually.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. It definitely is.
So-
Yeah, I want everyone out there to create original video game IPs. You see, for many years, we were so focused on esports, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, esports is a place where you play other people's games. so it's good money and all that. I understand. So I'm not going against all the esports companies. They're doing a great job.
It'll be
But-
nice to have esport with all our Malaysians.
Yeah, exactly. But we're still. I don't think we're still capable to do that. I mean, there might be some people who are making that kind of game right now. Like for example, now there's Passion Republic. So it's a Malaysian company making a game called Giga Bash where where you're controlling various kaijus, right? And one of them is actually Godzilla. They actually got the official license from Godzilla.
Oh, yes.
Yes, amazing.
Okay.
So Passion Republic games. So that could be potentially an esports game as well. But and then we have there's this company called oh wait, hold on, Jeremy. I know Jeremy. What's his company name? But anyway, so I know this guy Jeremy. He also makes a game called Eximius.
Okay.
So it's also an esports game where you are where you're in a suit and then you come out and then you can actually play like a strategy game. And yeah, that's also esports. So we have many original IPs actually. Yeah, but it's just that we need to have more.
Will you get involved in promoting esport and maybe
I have my hands full on making original IP lah.
That will be another head, is it?
Esports is something. It's an art form in itself, and I'm not an esports athlete, so I wouldn't know how to coach. I wouldn't know how to
Okay.
manage a team or manage an event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very different art.
Yeah. Right. Again, I think back to Malaysia. Okay. What would you advise for those who want to start a career gaming? I mean, a career in gaming. Yeah.
So, I think first things first, and I'm hoping iMoney will also do this, is that we need to tell everyone that the game industry exists out there. I think we are not at Upin Ipin level yet, right? We need that one IP that will shout out like Upin Ipin. So thanks to Upin Ipin, everyone knows there's a animation industry in Malaysia, but video game not yet. So hopefully we will work towards that even more lah. So first of all, understanding that there is a game industry out there and people like Metronomic, people like us are making original IP. So please tell your parents this. Okay, that there is money involved, and also that pie chart. The 196.8 billion US dollars. It has beaten Hollywood since 2008, I think. So it's a big industry.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I think what people need to understand is that making a video game is not that expensive. Okay, and it's not that hard either. It is hard, yes, but you can choose your scale. That's the beauty of video games. You can choose what kind of difficulty you want to go for. Do you want to go for a very big game? Or do you want to choose to make just a small little game about around 30 minutes? Graphics doesn't have to be too hot, right? But you have a good story.
Even like people like us.
Yeah, you can. Of course, and you don't need programming knowledge either. If you have the engines and all that, you just drag and drop stuff and then you can make a game already.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are so many tools out there now to make video games. Yeah. So if you have an idea and all that, the first thing you should do is just download some software, and not illegally. Yeah. Download free software. Yes, download free software and then make a game. Yeah. So what we are lacking is the action. A lot of people always say, I have this idea, I have that idea, I have this idea, and they don't actually make it. And it's so easy to make nowadays. Yeah. So we're living in an age where a lot of software comes for free. And the last thing I think I would like to advise people is to not be too proud of your culture, but also don't be under proud either. For example, compared to animation, when you make an animation, you have to make sure that you have the broadcasting rights of a certain country, blah blah blah, and all that. Of course, now they have YouTube, so it's much easier. But if you want to make a big animation, you still have to go through all that process, all that red tape. In video games, all you need to do is upload it somewhere, press, and then it will be globally published already. Yeah, so because of that,
Is that easy?
Is that easy? Yeah. Is that easy? Is that easy? And of course, you want to make a game that is marketed well. That's a totally different story. But I mean, but just to publish a game is very, very easy. And because of that, some people don't realize how big the market is if they don't know that you can just press a button and you know, promote it to the world. Right.
So I don't really realize that you just can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. You can, of course,
thinking that you can involve a lot of other marketing stuff.
Yep.
I mean, talking about simple game now.
Yeah, simple game, and then you know you can even upload it to your own website. You know, and just do a simple transaction form, and then people can buy your game. You know, for example, there's so many platforms as well to have your game selling. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, understanding that also means that you understand that there are many people who can do that. Also, meaning that you have to make your game stand out. So you have to make the game you, if that makes any sense. So only you can make. So being Malaysian is one of them. If you're a Malaysian chef, then okay, then put food into it. If you're a Malaysian car workshop mechanic, then put in stuff that
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You should not be embarrassed of
who you
of our background.
Exactly.
And you look at the number of tourists coming to Malaysia.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's getting more and more.
It's getting more and more.
Yep.
Right. About your developer. Okay. Are they all Malaysian? How you choose them? What's the gender percentage?
Oh yeah.
So
I
don't know.
I forgot to mention about the logo. So I think the diversity is also super important to us, right? We don't go into things like tokenism, of course, where we have to fill this quota. We don't do that, lah. But I want to make sure that it's very diverse, not only in terms of race and gender, but also in terms of personality. So let's say, for example, if I were to, to conduct an interview with the person, if I know that person is kind of the same as another person in the company, I will not hire that person.
Okay.
Even with the proper skill sets.
Okay.
So we do diverse by gender, race as well. You know, we were, to be honest, we were lacking a Malaysian Indian in the company for quite some time. But now we have around three Malaysian Indians. Yeah.
So all your developer is from Klang Valley or from?
Oh no, two of them are from Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then and of course, you talk about Klang Valley as in they are born in Klang Valley or?
Yes, they are staying in Klang Valley.
No, they're staying in Klang Valley, yes.
Okay.
But some of them are from Sabah, some of them come from Sarawak.
Okay. I have 3 questions for you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. If you can't answer, there might be another few thousand people who cannot answer.
Okay, sure.
So first one is, how long is an Olympic swimming pool?
Wow, damn. I was a swimmer, but I forgot what's the length. Shoot. No, it cannot be.
Okay. It's 50 meter.
Oh, 50 meters.
Usually, if you're a swimmer, you always use a 25 meter.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed because, yeah.
I think you love chocolate.
Okay.
Okay. What is the rarest M&M color?
Ooh.
You have blue, you have green, you have yellow, you have brown.
I thought it was blue.
What?
Is that the rarest one?
No, that's a missing one.
Sorry, I thought it was blue. I thought it was blue the whole time. Oh, it's not. What's the rarest
I
one?
think if you buy an M&M, you just open it.
Okay.
You always get less brown.
Oh, serious?
Yes.
Wow, brown is like the most, because the least interesting, is it?
I think so.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The first Final Fantasy game was released in which year?
1987.
We like to thank Wan
Thank you for
taking
having
the time coming
no
here.
No problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.